Hey there, this is Strong K with another video in my first impression series. This time we're gonna take a look at Endless Space. Endless Space, for those of you who don't know yet, is a 4X sort of game. You know, not unlike a Civilization type of game. Yeah, for those of you who spent the last 20 years as a Japanese soldier on a Pacific island only to be picked up recently by a Philippine merchant vessel, 4X games sort of let you take control over a civilization or, you know, galactic empire in this case, and then exploit its resources, expand the territory, and I forgot what the other X's stand for. I think one is exterminate, like exterminate your enemies, and then I have no clue. Exacerbate, I think it is. In any case, let's get going, because actually there's a lot to look at here. Okay, so thing with this game is that you know, I'm gonna start right off the bat with that it's multiplayer-able-ish sort of. So if you wanted to, we can join a game here, which we can right now because they're all full. But technically, let's hit refresh it. No, we can't. Technically, we would be able to, you know, join like a multiplayer game and mix it up a little there. Then you have the option of mods. I mean, this game is fairly new. It's like not the latest, you know, game in the shelf, really, if you will. But anyway, so the Endless Space mod here is actually the basic game. So far I can't see any mods here, but you know, they may or may not come in the not too distant future. Then, you know, the options menu, we're going to take a look later at that. Then you can load a game or start a new one, and let's just do that. Okay, so, you know, for those of you who've played like either Master of Orion, which is, you know, the game that this is, I think, most closely modeled after, or Civilization, here you have the screen where you can sort of, you know, tweak the parameters of the game that you're about to start. So, first off, difficulty. Okay, I'm gonna say, like, I'm not, like, I wouldn't, yeah, how should I put this? Like, consider myself an expert necessarily, or like a, you know, a very good Civilization slash, I don't know, 4X game player, if you will. However, you know, I would say that, how should I put it? That I'm at least experienced, so like, you know, sort of like a seasoned veteran at least in this genre. So this shit is really hard. Let's just like, let's get it out there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 difficulty levels, which I don't know. Like, I think, okay, the first game I started on normal. Okay, and they say if the British had been like this, the US would still be a colony, which is, you know, that says a lot actually. So normal is actually pretty hard. So let's go with easy here. I mean, newbie is okay, like a difficulty. If you really are, you know, inexperienced with this type of games, you pick that. Easy. Yeah, if this is Wellington, we'll also speak French. Let's just go with that. Game speed normal is cool, I guess. We can go to advanced settings here. Okay, pirates. The pirates in this game are, again, also pretty hard. Actually, the manual says that if you play on an easy difficulty, you should not put the pirates on hard or insane, as it is here, because those are your only option. Either no pirates, normal quote-unquote difficulty, or insanely hard ones. And because it's like the manual actually states that if you pick the pirates to be insanely difficult, and then like a easy difficulty for the other or players, or the other empires rather, chances are that the pirates might just take over the empires, you know, sooner than later in the game, which is something that you probably do not want to see. So I'm not sure. Like, let's pick normal pirates just for the sake, like, of, you know, showing you the combat pretty early in the game, because it might take a while until we see, you know, any other life forms here. Alright, and then we can set our victory conditions. So obviously score victory is like the standard victory condition, meaning that, you know, you can amass points of like victory points, and whoever is or has the most points at the end of one game wins. I mean, pretty easy. Supremacy is just that basically the military victory, meaning that if you invade all the home worlds of your opponents, then you win. Classic, I think. Wonder victory is sort of like the construction victory. If you have a lot of like industrial output and you can achieve to construct, I think, five certain constructions or buildings or whatever, then you win. Scientific victory, I think this is also pretty self-explanatory, at least to those of you who are familiar with this genre. There's a certain technology that you can research, and if you manage to do so, you win. Diplomatic victory, also, if you gain enough diplomatic victory points by forging alliances or trade or whatever, peace treaties, then you win. Economic victory, yeah, you have to amass a certain amount of dust, because dust is the economy, is the currency in the game economy. So if you manage to do so, you also win. Expansion basically means that if you control 3 times as many colonies as all other players combined, the galaxy is yours. Meaning if you control 3/4, I guess, of the whole area, then you win. Right. And then the generation seed is yeah, you can basically just input like a numeric code here, and then you're able to establish, like recreate a certain setup, you know, for like the playfield or like the galaxy, and then you can pass it on to your friends, stuff like that. You can actually install a timer here for your turns, and meaning that, you know, either all players have like 30 seconds or minutes, I don't know, to finish their moves, or the last player then, you know, is granted a limit to finish his move. But I'm just gonna go without this because this is like, I don't know, it's not for me, at least in single player it's not. And this is what we're gonna look at. Okay, so yeah, the setup of our galaxy, basically, let's click on advanced here. Okay, yes, it's like a lot of parameters, like it's like a medium density, means that, you know, stars per galaxy is sort of in the middle. Star connectivity, meaning that stars have, like, they have certain pathways, you know, like of being connected to each other, and obviously the higher the value here, the more connections there are. Wormholes are another way of connecting stars. Planets per system, there's 1 to 6 planets per solar system that can be colonized, for example, so let's keep this on normal. Resources on said planets also normal. The planet sizes, let's keep that, you know, on normal. The constellation distance can either, like, the star systems can be close, average, or remotely located, so it's like, yeah, few constellations, unique. Oh, okay, I get it. So they're like different clusters. I've never like really taken too close a look at this stuff. Let's just like leave it as it is. But like, suffice it to say, there's a lot of stuff that you can influence here. Let's keep let's keep a medium galaxy here. Age is normal, meaning that there's a mixture of stars. Young galaxies usually contain hotter suns, older galaxies cooler suns. This also influences the type of planets that you can find. Let's play with 4 empires, me and 3 AIs, and the galaxy shape can be a like spiral with 8 for 2 arms, a disc. A disc -4 is basically just influences sorting regions, and then this is a stretched out sort of galaxy. Yeah, and a flattened disc galaxy means, like, it's not, because the map in this game is not 3D, which, you know, is something that actually I can talk about this right now. because you know space obviously is 3D, meaning that you know you have 3 axes on which to move on. However, the map in this game is strictly 2D, so there's like the Y and X axis, and that's it. So the elliptical galaxy can be like compressed in a way, or they say stretched, like on the x-axis basically. So that is what that means basically. And this is two galaxies merging with a lot of stars in the middle. So let's just stick with the spiral 4, meaning we have 4 arms in our galaxy. Okay, single player, cool. This is us or me. Color red, sure, why not? Okay, and then we can pick our empires here. So basically, you know, standard fare actually should not come as a surprise really. Here we have a short description of what those guys are like. So yeah, surprisingly enough, the humans from Earth are evil. Basically, this is like a aristocracy of sorts, you know, where you just like colonize the galaxy. Those are our traits. They are, yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into this, you know, suffice it to say that you can either buy or buy benefits or drawbacks here, like dust impaired. It's like, I'm gonna talk about this later in the game, but I think you're familiar with how this works from other games that are like that. So you can buy either, you know, starting technologies that, you know, we have here, for example, or just like certain benefits like businessmen. So obviously the humans in this game gain plus 10%, and this is the symbol for dust or money on each system that they own, and so on and so forth. Entrepreneur is sort of like the same thing, also useful for gaining more dust. So the races to choose from are either the humans here and several human-related species, such as the Sheridan, which is basically a military organization. I think they're sort of like the Knights Templars, because this is, like I said, a monarchy or aristocracy. So those are the soldiers thereof, and also they have a strong affiliation with you know, entrepreneurial skills, like they're businessmen, sort of like the Knights Templars in the Middle Ages. Also they, like, you know, sporting this armor here, so I think it's safe to assume, you know, that they're sort of, or they're supposed to represent like I don't know, a knightly military like organization or association within this system here. Then we got the Horatio, also related to the United Empire, which basically are a cloning experiment going, yeah, so I'm not gonna say gone wrong, but you know, spiraled out of control basically. With like, you can read the backstory here. Then you got pilgrims, you know, sort of like the, I'm not gonna say hippie type of faction, but they are. Yeah, like scientists, explorers, and whatnot. You know, you can read this up yourself. They're actually the only human faction that are that have a good alignment. Okay, then you got Sophons. Those are your scientists. So you know, they're geared towards achieving a scientific victory. The Hishaw, I think they're pronounced. Basically, you like the Klingon type of race, very young race. You know, very strong in military and weak in other fields. Okay, then you have these amoebas that are yeah, sort of like diplomats of the game. I don't know for what reason, but yeah. And the sowers, sort of like the remnants of this fabled endless civilization. Basically, they're mechanical beings, sort of like your robots here, that, you know, travel from planet to planet and terraform those planets for the return or arrival, as it says here, of the endless race. And last but not least, the Cravers. They're like your insectoids. I forget, like, I'm not sure, because basically you find all these races, for example, in Master of Orion. Also, Cravers would be, I think, was it Meklar? No, Meklars were the machine. So Meklars would be the sowers. And those were the, I forgot, like, but sort of like the insectoid hive-minded type of civilization here that are constantly devouring everything that they come across. So as you can see, they have the trait Eternal War, so they cannot be at peace with other factions. You can also choose to play a random faction and or you know, create your own race here, which I did. The stronger case, for, you know, lack of a better name. I failed to add a description. I was too lazy. Anyways, let's stick. So you can basically by add, you know, you can, you know, name your faction, then choose an affinity. You know, that comes with certain traits here. The author can be you. Yeah. And I'm not going to go into this too much because it's not really... Oh, I'm sorry. Not really that important at this point, but let's just stick with the standard. I think standard choice of United Empire. You know, why not? Does not really matter. Okay, right. So, I think we're good to go. And let's get started.
They're not so united, the planets of this united empire. It's more a gaggle of unruly imperial corporations run by insolent dukes. But their armies are strong, their economy is efficient, and their ships are powerful. I fear that they may be the ones who will finally unite or dominate the galaxy. They'll turn it into a shrine to the gods of commerce, a profane church with Emperor Maximilian Zelivas as its high priest.
So yeah, all races sort of have like this backstory here, which is, I think, you know, adds some flavor, but it's not really relevant. Alright, so this is the main screen, and this is how we, you know, create our empire and subjugate the rest of the galaxy. At least in theory, that is. Okay, yeah, like I said or insinuated, to those of you familiar with those 4X games, this, you know, is not really surprising. Or they're you know, you're familiar with this, you know, setup of options here. But let's go over this real quick. Okay, on the top left of the screen, we have, first of all, the scores. So we are ranked 3rd right now, which is, I don't know, okay, I guess. There's nothing much you can do here. This icon lets us see the status of our empire, really, okay? So, the management screen here says that, okay, dust is, like I said, the money, the currency of this this cosmos, and we can adjust our tax rate, which directly influences, you know, the amount of dust we'll create per turn. Also other things such as, you know, approval. This is like the happiness of our denizens, really. Then the research. Currently we generate 8 research, which is a second resource in the game, from our systems, or actually just 1-star system, and we can, you know, adjust this by, you know, lowering the tax rate. So let's just keep it at 30% because we still generate 12 dust per turn, which is okay. Research, we put out 9 research per turn. Our citizens are happy, which is cool, because happiness directly influences the productiveness, which is, you know, displayed here. So here basically we have our 4 resources, which is food, industrial output, scientific output, and financial output. Right, food output. Okay. And then here we can see how our empire fares, if you will. So the tax rate gives us a +70 bonus on happiness. and so on and so forth. They're like ability traits that influence how we do defense, for example. Tax rate gives us plus 4% on production, which is due to the fact that our citizens are more happy. You know, tax rate and so on and so forth. The difficulty also influences how happy our citizens will be the further we expand our empire. For some reason, this game assumes that, you know, the larger the empire gets, the unhappier our citizens will become. For whatever reason, I'm not really sure why, but it's good to keep that in mind, because the first time I played this, actually, I had no clue, and yeah, I was really stumped by the fact that people got so restless simply, you know, due to the fact that I had a really large empire. But, you know, be that as it may, yeah, I don't make the rules. I just, you know, make videos about them and then post them online and rant about them. So yeah, it's sort of my job here. Okay, and then also overpopulation, which actually I think makes sense, sort of, you know, although it doesn't weigh as like gravely as the expansion. So for whatever reason, you know, suffice it to say, if your systems become overpopulated, this also will make people unhappy. And then the Empire also has a +4 bonus on movement speed, meaning that our ships will move faster than normal. Okay, right now we control one star system, which is called Dobrinia something. Let's actually rename that in, how about, oh, let's capitalize this, Earth. Yeah, you know, I just let my imagination run wild there. Okay, so this is the second screen, the system view. Alright, our system Earth. Well, actually, it should be like the solar, it was like Sol, right? Because this is Earth 1. Let's rename this real quick. Sorry for being so pedantic. But, you know, I want to enjoy this. Anyways, okay. So, what this does basically is, so here we can like micromanage our store systems. So currently this is our homeworld, Sol 1. Has an output of 9 food, 6 science, 6 production, and 15 money or dust. And if you hover over the symbols here, you can see how those are put to use. So we produce 9, +2 comes from an improvement that we have, which we can see here, which is currently our colonial base on Sol 1. Okay, the approval, the happiness gives us further bonus, and then obviously those 3 population, just like the people on our planet consume food, so you know this is -6 as we speak. So as you can see here, currently we have 3 population slots filled and 3 more open, you know, symbolizing the you know, the room that we have until Sol 1 is fully populated. So basically in 10 turns, this is the birth rate, we will this will climb to 4, and then 5 and 6, and then that's it. So if we choose to do so, we could then go on to colonize those planets. Currently we cannot because we lack the technology to do so, but we can research that. So if we at some point research, you know, the colonization technology for desert planets, we could colonize Sol 2, and so on and so forth. Exploitations I'm going to talk about in a second. Basically this is our planet type. So this is an Earth type of planet, and this has certain you know, benefits actually. As you can see here, desert planets have, you know, different effects, and so on and so forth. Then planets can feature certain effects. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on, you know, how you look at it, our planets do not have any, I think they're effects, right? No, anomalies actually. They're called anomalies, which you could see here. So none of our planets feature anomalies, which is okay, I guess. Okay, this is like a close-up view of our homeworld. We cannot in what way ever yeah, in any way, shape or form, like influence this thing here. Okay, and then we can further exploit our planet by either enhancing the food production, industrial output, financial output, or scientific output. So with this, because this is a Terran type of planet, we're going to go with evolved soils, because as you can see, we're getting an additional bonus on food production. It takes 5 turns to complete. And this planet also has a moon, and moons like may or may not feature temples or artifacts of the endless like race predecessors. So if you're lucky and you know, later on in the game you can discover a technology that allows you to survey moons, and you may or may not discover certain temples on the moon, and that will give you benefits for the entire empire. So this is what moons are all about. And also later on, if you further discover technologies, there are certain you know, industrial benefits from moons, but you know, let's just leave it at that for the time being. Okay, down here you can see artifacts that are located on those planets. They're basically 2 types of artifacts: strategic and luxury artifacts. Luxury artifacts are white, or now gray because we do not have access to them, and strategic artifacts are purple. And basically you can see here what those artifacts do. They have effects on the planet they're on, and as soon as you have a monopoly over those artifacts, meaning that you have access to 4 or more, they grant you a overall bonus on your empire. So if we would have 4 what's that, virtual artifacts here, that would give us a +20 production bonus on our empire, which is, you know, substantial actually. So this is, they're of course, you know, more or less like they're useless or useful benefits, and or like less useful benefits, let's put it that way. This is actually one of the more useful bonuses. Okay, and those will appear here. And then trade, as soon as we encounter other races in the galaxy, we can sign like trade treaties with them, and then, you know, gain further dust. Also, we can assign a hero to this solar system that can help us to further improve the overall output or the overall performance of this thing. Okay. Let's go back. So here, if you double click on the systems, you come back to this screen actually. So this is that. Also here you have like a quick overview of the solar system. The crown here meaning that this is our home world. 3 is the number of people living there currently. And then a blue dot here means the first planet here is colonized. A white dot would mean that we have the chance of colonizing that planet, and red dots mean that currently those planets are unable to be colonized. And the artifacts that we can find here are represented by those symbols above. And then we have the production queue showing us basically what is being produced here on those planets. So what we could choose to do once this is finished, we can you know, have system-wide productions being produced here. Productions, yeah, it's yeah, improvements rather. And those are sort of like the buildings in your civilization. One thing though that is different from most of the other like 4X games is that each improvement has a maintenance cost. So this would, if we would choose to install heavy isotope refineries on our system, that would mean that we'd have to pay 2 dust per turn. So you know, unlike other games that are like this, you know, where you just basically start building up your system, and some of, you know, those improvements maybe, you know, may tax on your overall income. Here it usually, with all the improvement, that is the case. So regardless of what you build, it will drain your financial resources. And this is an interesting aspect, I think, because you know, you should be very careful in what you build or what you equip your solar systems with, because basically everything will drain your financial resources, and sooner than later, if you just like randomly add stuff to your solar systems, you'll find yourself, you know, in financial trouble. So you should really like it actually makes you think about like more strategically, you know, what you want to do with a solar system. Should this be like a, you know, like a production powerhouse, or like a scientific sort of system that helps you discover new stuff there? You know, you can sort of like lay out a certain yeah, strategy, or like a certain you know, use. You could just like apply those things more carefully than just simply, you know, build everything in one system, which is usually the strategy with most 4X games, and then just have like a, you know, like a very versatile overall star system or a city, if you will. Okay, so other than those improvements, we can also have ships built here. Currently, we just have the Scout class, which is like a very, very small, tiny, you know, ship to basically discover the systems that are surrounding us. Defender class is a very weak combat unit, and then the Colony class is a colony ship that helps us to expand our, or like further colonize the galaxy, and we're just gonna go with that for the time being. Okay, because this is what we want to do. Here is the science window. So basically, you know, as an, oh right, the fourth X is explore, right? Is explore regarding or related to scientific explorations? I'm not really sure. Be that as it may. So as you can see, you have four like distinct branches of science here, like exploration, things that you can discover. So this would be like the upper branch here, is like the military branch, you know, displayed by this fist. Then you have like applied sciences, you know, that improves your materials, you know, or gives you bonuses to, or lets you improve or discover improvements, you know, to star systems that are like science related, you know, indicated by those blue corners here. Down here you'll find like planetary improvements, you know, stuff that lets you colonize planets or improve the planets that are already colonized. And then the left part here is or regards diplomacy and trade or wealth. You know, roughly. I mean, there are like as you can see here, for example, this red thing means that this is also a warfare benefit, because it will increase your command points. Command points I'm going to talk about in a second. So let's go with colonization here, arid planets. This is always a gamble. Like, you can either, depending on how the game is set up, and this is like, you know, randomly generated, you can either be lucky and encounter a lot of arid or tundra planets. So, you know, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to stick with arid for the time being, hoping that we will actually encounter more arid planets than anything else. So yeah, this is the technology, those are the benefits. So this will allow us to colonize arid planets. It will take 5 turns. Very, very self-explanatory. We could also go technically for like the sustainability here, and then you would see that the game will actually choose a path to get there. So, you know, first we will discover arid epigenetics, and then later sustainability. Since we don't want to do that, let's just click this, and then let's get out of here. Okay, this is our fleet management screen. So right now we have 2 fleets, Alpha and Beta. Not really that helpful. If we click on this, we can see this is our Scout fleet. So just like, let's rename this to Scout, actually, just to make things easier. I mean, later on, if you have like a ton of fleets, you won't be doing this because it's just gets out of hand here. Okay, colony. So this is like a colony ship. Those are command points. So basically, each fleet that you have has a certain number of command points, which are which depend on the technology level you're on regarding those command points. You know, as you I just pointed out, there are technologies that increase command points, and this basically what 5 means is that we can currently have ships up to 5 command points in one fleet. So we could have 5 colony ships or 5 scout ships. Each class of ship has a different number of what's it called again? Command points, right? So obviously the larger the ships are, the more command points are being used. And you know, the thing is that a fleet, like if you encounter another fleet in battle, the command point number actually of course determines how many ships, or you know, how big of a ship you can encounter in the fleet. So meaning that, you know, civilizations with higher command points obviously have the ability to like stuff more ships into one fleet, giving them a advantage over small fleets. Obviously, I think, yeah, I just explained it's like more complicated than, you know, than need be. Actually, I'm sorry for that. Okay, the next thing here, the next item here is the military power. This is like I'm not really sure what that actually means. Like obviously it means, or it refers to like the combat strength of your fleet. But you know, I'm not really sure how this is determined, because this does not necessarily represent the attack or defense power. But you know, we can take a look at this later when we start to design our ships here. Then this is the health bar. We can assign commanders to, or heroes to, each fleet. Right now we have 0, so we're not going to do this. Those are movement points, so you know, colony ships are slower than scout ships, and they're currently in the Sol system. So if we choose to do so, we could like you know, merge those fleets, but we're not going to do this. Disband them or retrofit, meaning that if we improve the current designs, we can upgrade the designs, or the you know, the equipment basically of the ships in our fleet. And I just renamed the thing. So, and if we click on the fleet, then we see here the ships that are in it. So again, you know, we can select or retrofit them, create new ships, or scrap certain ships. Okay, military development also, you know, very, very, very similar to other games of that nature. Lets us design a ship. Okay, so currently we can pick between the transport and corvette class. So yeah, here are like basic, I don't know, like name. We can like come up with a, you know, snazzy name for our ship design, corvette class. So as is, this ship would cost us 25 production points to finish. This is just like the hull basically. This indicates if there are special resources necessary to create this ship, or to build it rather. Right now we do not have any modifications or any equipment that would require us to have access to those resources. However, later on in the game, you have like certain type of weapons or armor that will require you to, you know, draw on those strategic resources that you can discover and that I just talked about, you know, in this planet management screen. So those are the military power points. You know, it's like more or less an indicator of how strong the ship is. HP are the hit points, and command points, obviously. Okay, then tonnage refers to how much stuff you can actually put into this ship. So we got 100 tons worth of stuff that we can put in there, and as you can see here, each module, you know, has a certain weight to it, meaning that, you know, we could put, like, if we choose to do so, you know, up to 14 hard kinetics weapons into that ship. Wait, sorry. So obviously we're not going to do that. And then the same is, like, you know, is true for defense modules and support modules. So basically, the combat in this game works, you know, sort of like a rock paper scissors type of game. So we got kinetics, beams, which are like laser weapons, and then missiles. And then, you know, missiles have a it's like long range benefit. Beams, medium range, and kinetic weapons have a close range benefit, meaning that it's like later on, it's like we're gonna see this in a little while, I think. we'll be able to show off how the combat works. So basically, the combat is divided up into 3 phases. Like a distant phase, like far range combat, medium range, and close range. And each weapon type has an accuracy bonus. So obviously, you know, the further your ships are apart from the enemy ships, the less accurate the kinetics will be, and the more accurate the missiles will be, and so on and so forth. And then, you know, missiles can be deflected by flags, lasers by shields, and kinetic weapons by deflectors. So currently we just have layered hulls, which is a deflector defense. And then support modules are sort of like, you know, like miscellaneous type of modules that we can put on here. For example, give that like additional energy that will increase our max damage, or like damage in general, but will also make our ship more vulnerable. And then you have armor, which is basically the hit points. This is the seed mod is basically a capsule, you know, for colonizing purposes. Engine will increase our speed, and this will increase our recon value, and then the repair module lets us, you know, repair our ship when not in combat. Okay, so I don't know, let's just, like, for shits and giggles, make like a really sturdy ship here. Okay, this is just kinetic because we don't have anything else than kinetics. Let's call this the Connect. I know I'm hilarious like that. Okay. And let's close the military view. Right, then we got diplomacy. You know, if we had encountered the other species here, we could basically click on them and, you know, do some diplomacy here. As of now we can't, so this is our screen basically. Nothing too fancy as of now. Okay, then here is the hero screen. No active heroes, and those are the heroes that we can choose from. Okay, so if we wanted to recruit a hero, we would have to shell out 20 dust and pay an additional upkeep of 2 dust per turn. And here you can see the classes. So each hero can have up to 2 classes: adventurer / pilot. So this guy, or is that this person, let me put it that way, would be like more suited to be you know, like a fleet general. And then here, this is more type like a governor type of person. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have like a real fully fledged governor at our disposal, which sucks, because I don't know, they're actually more useful, at least in my book. But you know, let's just hire Festus. Those are the clones from the Horatio race, or Odessa, Turini or Odessa. Let's go with Odessa. Why the fuck not, right? I think they're actually the same, because they have the yeah. Okay, let's hire this guy. Oh, we can't. Okay, let's wait until next turn. And yeah, actually, if we're unhappy with our the heroes at our disposal, basically, we can also expel. That means fire them. Okay, let's just get rid of this guy. So in 50 turns, there's going to be another hero coming in here that we can then choose from. Okay, and let's do that. So this basically, those are notifications here that lets us know that we have further heroes available. Not really that important. Alright. Yeah, after this like pretty long introduction, let's get started. Okay, let's take our colony ship and just freaking go to this star system, because this is a yellow sun. And this is very promising in regards to colonizable planets. So let's discover or research those planets. This is basically the set of our galaxy. We're down here. This, I think, this will expand into like one of the 4 arms of our galaxy. Yeah, so let's get going. Right. Okay, this button actually lets you complete all your ship's turns or movements, which is pretty cool. Because, you know, you can just like have everything finish their turns and then, you know, see the results and then further plan your strategy. Alright, okay, we unfortunately cannot colonize any of those planets. Those are arid Antonov rings. Okay, Antonov rings give us a +2 dust bonus and science bonus +1. Okay, titanium 70 is a strategic resource that we later on will need, you know, in order to produce certain types of weapons, I think. It's for like ship production. Also, Hadar 4 has it's a pretty decent, like, financially speaking, pretty decent planet, so let's keep an eye on this one. What was it? Arid, right? What are we researching right now? Was it arid? Nice. Yes. Good call. Good call. Okay, Arctic and friendly locals. It's also not bad. +1 food, 20 happiness, and +1 population. I think those are the friendly locals that will become, you know, citizens of our glorious empire rather sooner than later, if they want to or not. Okay, those, like, you know, foggy or like scribbly kind of lanes here are wormholes. So, which is this? Is the colonize. Okay, let's just wait here until we complete the arid colonization. So as of now, we cannot travel those wormholes. We need a certain type of what are they called? Technology. Sorry, technology for that. Meaning that later in the game, this is going to become more important. Right now, as of now, there's nothing much we can do. Okay, let's take our scout ship and discover this star system, and then let's just end our turn. Yeah, so basically this is pretty much like standard 4x fare, so to speak. You know, nothing really, you know, to knock you off your socks. I mean, the real difference here is obviously the combat system, which is sort of intricate, but I'm going to talk about this later, you know, once we actually get to see some combat here. And what I'm going to do now is play a little off screen until I do encounter an enemy fleet. So see you in a little while. Okay, so I chose to load a different game because in the game that we originally started, it took a pretty long time and I have not encountered anybody so far. So here we basically have the same setup. We play as the humans and have more or less the same tech tree, so it's very comparable to the game that we started ourselves. And as you can see, the Sophons were foolish enough to venture into our territory, and they will rue the day that they did so. Okay, what we're gonna do first is, and you can see I already have a Connect class ship, you know, at the ready. So I'm gonna seal off this solar system, which you can do by clicking this button, meaning that, you know, all the possible routes out of the system are blocked by our fleet. So if the Sophons should choose to flee, we would be able to intercept them. And as we can see here by their military strength, which is 31, it's safe to assume that this is just a scout vessel. So we should not, you know, have or go through a lot of trouble dealing out a shellacking to them. Okay, let me do this real quick. Here you can see the setup of the fleets. Yeah, the investigator, I think, yeah, it's just a scout vessel. This shows how likely we are to win, or the enemy is to win. So, you know, the favors are clearly on our side here. We can either choose to have this resolved automatically, or, you know, pick the manual mode, which we will do right now. And the game does not leave you a lot of time to make decisions, so I'm gonna be quick here. Okay, this is the enemy. Right, and as you can see, you know, battles take place in long ranges, medium ranges, and melee phases. And for each phase, we are able to like pick a strategy card. Okay. All right. So we picked a defense card, magnetic fields, which has been countered by short circuits, which is a, I think, sabotage card. So, you know, you have in total like 5 different types of cards. Let me just exemplify this. So you have defense, offense, engineering, sabotage, and tactics. And then retreat, which is unblockable. That's like a specific type of... Okay, again, dude, he's... Right. And let's just go with weapon overclock, because this adds a plus 40 bonus to our kinetics. And this is actually the kinetics phase where it matters. And, you know, we should actually be able to take this guy out. Okay, so this, like, has neither an advantage nor disadvantage. Right. And down here you can see the phases. Actually, there are 5. This is, like, sort of the introduction. And then there's like an aftermath phase, which is really short, just shows you like the outcome of the battle. And 2, 3, and 4 are actually our real combat phases here. Okay, so this has ended in a draw. He has 72 hit points left. Okay. Well, next round, you know, he should be ready to go. If we click on this, then this is the aftermath of our battle. So we are able to deal out 407 points of damage. Yeah, with an accuracy of 56%. That's okay, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Let's just, you know, skip this and get right to it. And let's attack again. Let's annihilate the Sophons. Okay, yeah, that should be really it. I don't know. Okay, again. And up here, let's just pick nano repairs because we are slightly damaged, and you know, I want to repair our ship here. And up here, you can really you can see the dust cost. So some of the cards that we can discover later through, you know, the discovery of certain technologies. I'm just gonna employ the... Oh yeah, we actually beat him, so that should be it, I guess. I don't know. Oh wait, let's pick weapon overclock just in case. They have, you know, a cost that goes along, so they incur like a certain amount of dust. Is that gonna be it? Come on. 40, 45. Okay, and then let's just go to town. This should be it though. And for some of the cards we have to have a hero as an admiral, you know, to our fleet. Okay, that was it. Okay. Who then can actually utilize those special cards. So yeah, this has been, you know, a battle. We actually, yeah, defeated the enemy. You know, we just witnessed that. And then we can also lift the blockade here. So yeah. Yeah, in summation, just to, like, you know, come to an end here real quick, because this has been going on for long enough, I would say. Yeah, is this recommendable? Would I recommend this? There are 2 points of criticism here that I do want to mention. The first one is something that you just witnessed, which is the battles. Because I honestly think that, you know, other than a Master of Orion, for example, yeah, take a shot again. the battles are not really, as strategic as or as tactic as, I would like them to be maybe, or, as they could be. Because the cards, this whole card system, this rock, paper, shotgun, lizard, Spock thing, relies heavily on luck, more so than anything else. Because the more ships are evolved or involved in the combat, the stronger the cards that you pick affect the outcome of the battle, I should say. And I mean, more or less, you are able to anticipate what cards your enemy is gonna play simply by analyzing the type of ship he brings into the battle. So, say he has a fleet that's very strong on like long-range combat, like missiles, then obviously he would want to employ cards that further enhance the effects of missiles, which will leave you or give you the opportunity to somehow counter those effects. However, this also can heavily rely on luck, and even more so, or more adding to this annoying factor, is that you cannot even skip through the phases, because most of the time if you engage in war with an enemy, you have several fleets that you have to coordinate, and you want to pick the manual combat style simply because there's certain, you've laid out a certain strategy for your fleet, as I just outlined. Okay, there's a missile, a fleet that's relying on missiles, or maybe there's some ships that rely on missiles and then some on kinetics, for close range combat. So I'm gonna choose or pick my cards accordingly, and that's gonna be it. And regardless of what the enemy does, I'm just gonna stick with my selection. There's no way for you to skip combat, so this can be actually kind of lengthy, and each fleet engaging in combat has to go through this battle that you just witnessed. So it can be very, very tedious, especially in war scenarios where you have to manage several fleets and manage several combats. I'm not really that dissatisfied with the combat per se. I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is a deal breaker for the whole game, but I certainly see some room for improvement there. Make it less rely on luck, really, like the outcome of the battles, and also have more choices, give the player more means of influencing the actual outcome. For example, like in a Master of Orion, where you can move your ships on the battlefield and then flank the enemy, stay away from him if you have long range weapons, or move in close as quickly as possible if you have melee weapons, that sort of thing. The other thing that I don't really like is the diplomacy system. But then again, I've never really seen a 4X title where this is, somehow presented in a satisfactory way, let's put it that way. So yeah, here we can analyze our adversaries or partners. Currently we're neutral, so like the other species. Currently we can just declare war because we have not discovered any other technologies, but that doesn't matter. That's not the qualm that I have here, or that's not my point of criticism. What is that this deal system that you can see here. So basically, later on, you can choose, for example, certain technologies that you want to trade, or money, or systems, or what have you, or resources. And it's suffice it to say that whatever deal you propose, you will always be at the short end of the stick. Meaning that, for example, the different types of technologies will appear here, and next to them will be indicated the worth in research points, so or their value rather. So say you have a technology that is worth 100 research points, and you want to trade it with a technology also worth 100 research points. The party you trade with will always be disapproving of that deal, although it's a pretty fair deal, 100 points for 100 points. That in itself wouldn't be so bad. What really makes it pretty much useless is the fact that you cannot sweeten up the deal with dust, because if you can either choose to throw in like a lump sum of dust into the deal, or like an amount of dust that you will pay per round. And if you choose to like, either way it doesn't really work, like, but it's specifically with like the set amount of dust, like the lump sum that you may or may not want to contribute here, this will never affect the deal in any way, shape or form. Like, this has no bearing whatsoever. So if you have like 100 for 100 like, in technology, and you throw in like an additional 50 or 100 or even 200 of dust, they will almost never accept the deal, which makes this whole like exchanging money or currency thing pretty much useless, which then in turn will leave you with the only option of either giving them an additional technology that will work to their advantage, or just like scrap the deal altogether and be like, listen, I'd be better off researching this by myself, because this does not make any sense. At least this is my experience with the whole diplomacy system here. Like I said, since I've never seen a diplomacy system that really works in any of those games, that is not so much, or that doesn't weigh so heavily here. Maybe as a consequence, I never actually go for the diplomatic victory, because I find those diplomacy systems highly, useless, or there's like a nice gimmick, but they're not useful enough to actually constitute a real gameplay mechanic. At least, I would go so far as, to claim that. Whatever. So, yeah, what I really like about the game, though, and there are some things that I like in particular, is the system's micromanagement, and actually the fact that as you can see here, that each improvement will tax your, or will incur a fee, if you will, or will tax your overall income of the system. Because usually what you're gonna do, and if you've played a civilization, for example, is that the further you progress in the game, and you will have certain cities or systems that are just there like for a strategic purpose maybe, but other than that they don't really do a lot. So what you will do is like you just accumulate building after building or improvement after improvement, and without any consequence, and cities will just grow and then feature all the things that are available to you at this point in the game. Whereas here, you really have to carefully decide what you want to use, what you want to build, and what you rather do not want to see in your system. And also according to the way, or the purpose that you intend, it's like for the system. You have to carefully select the types of improvement that you want to employ here, because each useless or each superfluous improvement will just unnecessarily drain on your overall dust production, which I like. So you won't be slapping improvement onto improvement in the system, so you carefully select what to build and what not, and also depending on the type of system that you have. So if it's more like a science-oriented system, then you want to you may deem it worth to add further improvements that will enhance the science output, and so on and so forth. So that's actually something that I like, in combination with those exploitation options here. There's one per planet that you can choose, so that adds like a certain flavor to the game that I definitely dig. Yeah, overall impressions in summation. Yeah, if you're a fan, obviously, of the genre, I would highly recommend this to you, simply because it adds some, especially in the micromanagement sector, it adds some new features that you may not have seen before. Also the combat, although I personally do not like it, some of you may like it, or think at least it's like a nice little feature that is new, so why not give it a chance? You can always opt for the auto combat option, which is more or less fair. There are not a lot of surprises there, so guesstimating by the odds bar, like the bar indicating the outcome of the battle, you have more or less an idea of how that is going to end, so that's okay, I guess. If you're new to the genre or you're not a huge fan, like a casual gamer that, you know, every once in a while wants to play a strategy game, I would not necessarily recommend it. First of all, because of all the intricacies I've, you know, pointed out so far, and maybe even more so because of the high difficulty of the game, because it really is tough. Those pirates really are tough. I mean, you can turn them off if you want to, but also generally speaking, I'm like playing on the normal difficulty. I had a pretty hard time just sustaining myself. I was constantly running out of dust. I had systems rebelling all the time, and then as soon as somebody, you know, begins to wage war on you, you're basically doomed. Also, maybe I can chalk this up as, you know, being inexperienced in this particular game, Endless Space, but you know, it is pretty hard. At least, you know, and I've said this, I've played my fair share of Civilization games, Master of Orion, Alpha Centauri, you name it, Sword of the Stars. So yeah, this definitely is not unplayable or like unfairly hard, but it definitely has a higher difficulty. Also, enemies, especially pirates, are scaled. I think in most other games they are too, but here you really do notice, because as soon as you reach a certain technology, like you develop a certain ship class that would allow you to take on pirates that, you know, are pestering the star systems, they will evolve in turn, and you know, it's just an arms race that you never seem to be able to win. So it is pretty hard. So yeah, for those of you, you know, not really that much into this type of game, more of a lukewarm recommendation. Yeah, also, you know, maybe because, as you could see, like from the presentation, the whole backstory plays, I would say, like a subordinate role in this whole thing. So it's more of a, you know, strictly like managing type of game for like purists of this genre. You know, so basically not a bad game by you know, no stretch of the imagination. It's actually pretty good. Just may not be something for you if you're not familiar with this you know, type of game or scenario, if you will. Right. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little. It's actually went on to become like a longer video. Still, I hope you enjoyed it. It was of some use to you guys, and if you did so, I would love to see you on my channel again. Alright, thanks a lot, and take good care of yourselves. Alright, bye.